Every morning, before the sun even touched the Andes, dead kings were carried out to greet the dawn. Not as a ritual, not as a memory, but as active members of the royal court. And somehow, that wasn't even the strangest part of the Inca Empire. You've heard of the Incas, Machu Picchu, mountain roads with no wheels, mountains of gold. But here's what almost nobody tells you. The Inca Empire wasn't just powerful, it was deeply intelligent, philosophically, spiritually, systematically. And the real magic? It didn't live in the ruins you see today. It lived in something invisible, ceremony, ritual, and sacred systems that shaped every single hour of daily life. So today we're stepping inside that world. We're spending 24 hours in Cusco in the year 1520 at the absolute peak of Inca power. And we're going to see how this civilization actually worked. The astronomy hidden in stone, the textile system that replaced money, the mummies that influenced politics, and a festival so powerful, it had to be banned for over 400 years. Let's start at the beginning. 4 a.m. It's pitch black in the sacred valley. The cold bites hard, near freezing. The air is thin, every breath visible. And yet, the city is already awake. Cusco, the navel of the world. But this wasn't just a capital. It was a cosmos built in stone. The entire city was designed in the shape of a PUMA, symbol of earthly power. Sacsayhuamán formed the head, 2 rivers formed the tail, and every person here knew exactly where they stood within that cosmic body. Because when the Inca conquered a people, they didn't just tax them. They moved their rulers into Cusco, placing them in districts that mirrored their homeland. So walking through the city was like walking across the entire empire, from jungle to coast, in minutes. This is the city waking up at 4 a.m. And this is where things get strange. In the darkness, servants move through royal compounds. But they're not preparing food for the living, they're preparing the dead. The Inca practiced ancestor veneration at a scale almost unmatched in history. When an emperor died, he wasn't buried. He was returned, mummified, seated upright, eyes replaced with gold, dressed in royal garments, fully adorned, and then brought back to his palace. Not stored, not hidden, returned. These mummies, called malquis, were treated as living. They had attendants, spokespeople who spoke on their behalf. They were fed, spiritually, through offerings of food and chicha. They attended ceremonies, celebrations, even political discussions. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. They still owned everything: their palaces, their lands, their wealth. A new emperor inherited the title, but not the fortune. So what did he do? He had to build his own, which meant the empire had to keep expanding. More land, more resources, more wealth. The dead weren't just honored, they were driving the entire system forward. And if expansion ever stopped, the system would eventually collapse. But in 1520, it's still working, and the dead kings are about to greet the sun. By 6 a.m., the first light hits the Qorikancha, the temple of the sun, and the entire city shifts. This was the most sacred place in the empire. Its walls, covered in sheets of solid gold. Inside, gardens made entirely of gold, corn, animals, trees, not decoration, power. Inside, the mummies of past emperors sat in order. Hanan and Hurin, upper and lower, duality governing everything. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Inca didn't just worship the sun, they tracked it with incredible precision. Stone towers on the horizon marked exact sunrise points throughout the year. Each position triggered something: planting, festivals, rituals. The entire city functioned like a giant astronomical instrument. And it wasn't just Cusco. At Machu Picchu, the Intihuatana stone aligned with the equinox. The Temple of the Three Windows captured solstice light. They tracked star clusters, even the dark shapes in the Milky Way, seeing animals in the void between stars. To them, the sky wasn't empty. It was alive, readable, like a map. By 9 a.m., the empire is fully in motion. And what powers it might surprise you. No money, no coins, no markets like Europe. Instead, labor and cloth. The mitre system meant every person owed labor to the state. In return, the state took care of everything. Food, clothing, protection, a full social contract. And the infrastructure? Built through it. Terraces, roads, cities. But here's the catch. Cloth wasn't just clothing. It was currency. It was status. It was power. Different grades existed, strictly controlled. From basic textiles to ultrafine fabrics reserved only for the emperor. And every pattern meant something. A tunic could tell you who someone was, where they came from, what rank they held. It was identity, woven into fabric. And every piece, tracked through something even more mysterious. The quipu. This is where things get almost alien. The quipu was a system of knotted strings, colors, knots, positions, all encoded information, numbers, census data, crops, troop movements, possibly even stories. No written language, yet a fully functioning record system. The Quipuca Mayoks, specialists trained for years, held the empire's memory in their hands. And when the Spanish arrived, they burned it, not just tools, a library, an entire civilization's memory, lost. And even today, we still can't fully read what survived. By midday, Cusco's central plaza comes alive. The Haukaypata, sand from the ocean covers the ground, symbol of life's origin. 4 roads connect it to the 4 quarters of the empire. This wasn't symbolic, it was a claim. This is the center of the world, and you could read a person instantly. Ear spools showed status, clothing showed origin, hairstyle showed ancestry. The body itself was a document, but there's something even deeper most people never hear about. The Ceque system. 41 invisible lines radiating from the city, each connecting sacred sites, huacas, 328 in total, springs, stones, hills, sacred places, each maintained by specific families, each tied to time itself, days in the calendar. So walking these lines was walking through time. This wasn't just religion, it was geography, society, astronomy, all fused into one system. And this is what outsiders missed, not gold, not stone, but a civilization that mapped the divine directly onto the world itself. Now, the moment everything builds toward. June 24th, the winter solstice, the longest night of the year, and the entire empire turns toward one place, Sacsayhuamán, Inti Raymi, the festival of the sun, 9 days of ceremony. Thousands gathered, mummies present. This wasn't just a festival, it was the empire, proving itself. At dawn, nobles raise golden cups to the sun. They sing, slow, rising, powerful. Helping the sun rise, yes, helping it. Because this was a relationship. The sun gives life, humans give devotion, and the cycle continues. The high priest ignites sacred fire using sunlight itself. And then, the moment. The Sapa Inca raises a cup to the sky, then pours another into the earth, sending it through golden channels to the temple below. He isn't just a ruler, he's the bridge, the connection between heaven and earth. And for everyone watching, this wasn't spectacle, it was reassurance that the world still worked, that the sun would return, that life would continue. When the Spanish banned it, it didn't die, it went underground. And centuries later, it came back. Because some things can't be erased. So what does one day in Cusco teach us?